You're one of your hosts, Neil, and we got Denise here with us,
Hi,
and we are
guys.
live and coming through on this podcast this evening. Got some wonderful stories to tell you, so please feel free to chime in, to ask questions, to say hi, and let us know that you're here and and enjoy the conversation, and hopefully we'll tap into something that you're interested in. There's a lot going on, not only locally but nationally, across different states. I mean, it's crazy right now. So please stay with us for the entire hour. So Denise, how are things?
Uh, okay, copacetic. Oh
Any
my
good
God.
stories you hear about today?
Yeah, because there's always such good news out there. Apparently, according to some expert who was posting on X, and I saw this through Secular Talk. Apparently, the American Empire is cooked. We're done.
Didn't I say that months ago?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's old fucking news. Like how about something new?
Oh,
That's
great.
old news.
Thanks.
That's old news. Like I mean, seriously, like people didn't see that like months ago. As the world, all these foreign countries were selling U.S. treasuries, and the government couldn't sell the debt. I mean, we have to sell $3 trillion this year in new debt, and nobody's buying.
Hold on. I am getting a message that apparently we are lagging. I'm not lagging on this end, but something's happening on YouTube. I got an error that I should refresh, so I'm going to go and refresh, and hopefully that will fix whatever's going on.
Oh
Hold on
God,
a moment.
again?
Yep. Hang
We gotta
on.
go through this again. Uh, well, Denise is gonna be right back with us, so we will continue without her. But please feel free to join in, ask questions. There's a lot going on these days, and obviously we had the Iran deal. We almost had an Iran deal, then we didn't have an Iran deal, and then Israel blew up the Iran deal. So there's
There it
that.
is.
So nothing new on that front. We have one of Elon Musk's companies trying to change the rules for the S&P 500 so that they can be listed in the S&P 500, so that they
Yeah.
could steal all our pension money. So there's that.
Hey,
Uh, you
hey,
know,
Mary.
hey Mayor. And then we had the governor of New Jersey try to enter an ICE facility and was denied. So that's sort of like where we are, like the craziness of the world today. You know,
Yeah, and the other thing that is going on is apparently now Trump wants to make a list of people who can and can't vote. He's trying to do that. I don't think that's going to go
he's
over
been
well.
trying to do that though.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think
nothing
that's
new.
gonna. Yeah, well, no, this is something new he's announcing. Now it's another thing. Like they keep
No,
trying,
this is what he was trying to do, and the
and
courts
he's
weren't allowing him to do it. Right? He was trying to get the voter rolls, and he's been trying to get the voter rolls now for, the pat since he got back into office. They've been trying to get those voter rolls. The states haven't allowed him access to the voter rolls, and so therefore, right, the next iteration is to announce this is why we want the voter rolls, right?
right.
Because
Yeah,
before they were denying that they ever even wanted them. Now they're just like they've given up on all pretense, of we're gonna do things civilly and the right way. At least they were like before giving us word salad, but they were giving us excuses like how their illegal acts were actually legal. Now they've given up all that pretense. Now it's just like, yeah, we're gonna break the law. Fuck you. What are you gonna do about it?
yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of where we are. I mean, the corruption is on steroids.
Yeah.
Last I checked, there is a challenge to that $1.8 billion slush fund that came about last week. I I know they're going to do everything they can to just make it go through without any. I mean, that's supposed to be congressional approval. We don't even have Congress anymore.
It's not right. Like this is. Remember what I said a few weeks ago, where I said it really wasn't a settlement. It is not a settlement.
Hmm.
There is no settlement, right? Like like the government has funds when it comes to settling lawsuits. All right, they've already appropriated money for that.
Yeah.
Okay, right? Trump went to court. He filed in court withdrawing his thing. The pretense for creating this fund is this lawsuit. But one thing has nothing to. This is what I mean about government, right? This is what I mean about government and how actual government operates versus what you're being told and the propaganda that you're being told. You're being told the propaganda of, well, it was a settlement of a lawsuit, blah blah blah, and we're going to create this fund, and right. No, what's happening is he wants Congress to approve a fund, right, to distribute money to January Sixers, which, right, like this is the biggest joke of them all because he ain't distributing any money to
Of course
January
not.
Sixers,
He's going to
right?
find
All
some
that
way.
all that money is going to him. All that money is right. Like he's MAGA. MAGA did January 6th. He's MAGA. That means he deserves all the money.
Oh wait, is
There you
this an
go.
admission? Is this an admission?
But this is the way he operates. So I go with he is trying to get an act of Congress to do this, right? This isn't a settlement. This is a game. This is the game that everybody plays in Washington, right? To make something that's illegal and illegitimate into legitimacy and legality.
Yes. Yeah. Then this has been going on for quite some time now. Throughout this entire
Entire
administration. It's
administration.
yeah. And definitely and quietly beforehand. It's now just right in our faces. The corruption is you can't deny it. I think even I saw somewhere that even Fox can't really defend his actions at this point. They're like running out of excuses to protect to defend what he's doing. We don't know what to say anymore.
What could you say? How do
Nothing.
you defend this?
You don't.
How do you defend any of this?
The-
There's no defense. We have money. We have oil leaving the United States. Right? All those ships are looking to take American oil that should be meant for us overseas to Europe. Right? The only people that are benefiting
of,
are the corporations.
absolutely. Yep.
Right? That's it. We aren't benefiting from that. Okay? In fact, our gas prices are going higher. And if you look at productivity is actually going down, right? We're not opening new wells. There's no there's nothing from the United States side to try to push down gas prices. They don't want gas prices. You heard Trump praise the high gas prices. He fucking loves it. He's going around going, high gas prices. This is great. I'm making lots of money. Right? Like, I mean, so anybody thinking, right, that the government is looking after our interests when it comes to energy or
Fuck
gas or
no.
anything like that, ain't fucking happening. Gas tax they ain't looking to help you with the gas tax. Gas tax means more money out of your pocket, okay? All right. And more money going to the government, which is just going to give it away to billionaires.
Yeah.
So let
Yeah.
let's stop that. The only thing that would fix all this is to basically say, turn all those tankers around. We ain't selling our oil. That's
Yeah.
what would
That's
bring
not
down
happening.
prices. But that's not going to happen. And neither side. And it's interesting because neither side, neither the Democrats nor the Republicans, are bringing up that as an option. Have you noticed
Yeah.
that?
Yes, I
Right?
have.
Like this goes to what I was saying earlier about Democrats and Republicans, right? They are both right. This idea that they are different, you know, it they may not be the same, but let's stop pretending that Democrats are the opposition party.
Yeah.
We really just got to stop pretending that because it just isn't happening in any real way at the federal level. And I think everybody, I mean, even Cory Booker is now coming out going, we need new leadership. And that's like, like that guy is like the epitome of APAC. And even he's like, we need new leadership.
Yes, we do. Well, we
Yes,
also
we
need
do.
new bodies in there, which is why we are pushing more and more for people to just sort of really be engaged in the candidates that are running within the primaries. Like people don't vote in primaries unless, of course, you're in Kentucky and you're Thomas Massey going against Thomas Massey. Then all of a sudden, the vote count doubles. But that's another topic. We can come back. We can circle back to that. But yeah, a lot of people don't engage in primaries. They don't. Half of us don't even know when primaries are. They make sure to keep that kind of under wraps so people don't come out. But we need to do that. We need to know when primaries are, where our voting locations are, who's on the ballot, what they represent, and where they're getting their money from. Are they grassroots coming from just the general public and they're sort of hoofing it? Maybe you don't know them that much. It's just because they're not on TV because they don't have the bank account that these corporate backed candidates have. But they may be the person that is going to speak to your needs. Chances are they're a working class person and they understand how you're dealing with this outrageous inflation, gas prices, food costs, and how that's impacting you every single day, right? And they're the ones to look for. Just don't take the lip service from the APAC people. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear, and then when they get in there, they're going to do the opposite because that is exactly what is happening with Trump. He made a shitload of promises and did the opposite.
I think we also have to be careful of buzzwords, right? You hear a lot about affordability, you hear a lot about transparency, you hear a lot about, like they people throw out these buzzwords, left, right, center, communist, Marxist, fascist, right? Like, what the fuck do any of these terms actually mean? Okay, and I think what people really need to drill down to is what does this actually mean? Okay, what are you gonna do for me? Okay, we have to stop with this nonsense like Mamdani is a communist and we can't vote for
He's
him,
not a
right?
communist.
Like what the fuck does that even mean? Right? You're picking a buzzword that somebody told you to say, right? Like you sit there and call me a sheep and you call Denise a sheep, right? That we're just following. But meanwhile, you're the one just quoting buzzwords.
Right.
Okay? Stop with the buzzwords.
Or the
You don't know what the,
slogans. The
right, you don't know
slogans.
what you don't know what those words mean. First of all, and second of all, right? Listen, me and Denise talk all the time. Okay, you can't pin me as being left, just like you can't pin her as being left. We have opinions that are all across the board, from going all the way from the left to the right. Okay, in fact, almost every American has opinions from the left to the right. Okay, the party's job, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, their job is to put you in a box. Okay,
Yes. They've done a
right,
good job.
and make you seem like you are one side or the other, right? When in fact you are neither one of those, and that's why most people, right, have registered as unaffiliated versus being Democrat or Republican. There are more unaffiliated voters in the United States today than there are Democrats and Republicans. Okay, especially when you start looking at local municipalities. Stop with the nonsense. Okay? Stop with the generalizations. Stop with that stuff. How about we start looking at actual policies? Mamdani won because he was talking about actual policies, right? The last time I heard a politician talk about actual policies, all right, I would have to go back decades.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Mamdani. Mamdani's the only guy that's actually done it. AOC, you may not like those two people and you may not agree with them, but then talk policy with them.
Yeah.
Say, instead of just calling them communist and saying that you don't like what they stand for, right? What do you stand for? Start identifying what you stand for. You don't want Medicare for all, then give us what you do want. Because the system that we currently have sucks.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Tell me about it. Tell me about
So
it.
so like we have to stop with these generalizations of putting people. Here's the thing: Democrats and Republicans want to put you in the box. Okay, you know what you do? You take that box and shove it right back up their ass.
Yeah. There you go. That'll do it. Let's see what they say.
Solved. Problem solved.
Unionville news. I saw some news about something going on in Unionville, which is a local, semi-local town. Unionville news. And it was something similar to what was going on locally here. The Unionville Times. Oh, I don't know what it is. Marty brought it up to me today.
Oh, that guy Marty.
That guy Marty brought it up to me and said, hey, there's something going on in Unionville. And then he told me about it, and now I completely forgot. Marty, can you remind our audience here? I want to give all my money to United. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, United Health? I don't think so. Very unpopular. What do you, back to healthcare, what do you guys think? Because it was interesting because this came up in one of the groups that we're in. I think it's the MAGA Free Warwick came up, and somebody was, talking about why we should have Medicare for all, and somebody was like, oh no, universal healthcare sucks. I'll take my healthcare that I got to pay for. There's always that idiot who comes out with that, but it always generates a triggered response from the audience. And if that person or somebody is in here or who feels that way, tell us how you feel and why. Right? Tell us how you feel and why. Why do you think having high premiums and higher copays and a higher out-of-pocket expense is better than a shared cost that comes out of a small portion of your tax dollars, and everybody gets health care? We're able to keep hospitals open. We're able to keep clinics open. We're able to keep, medical staff employed, because we're losing people. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but it's harder to get an appointment now than it was a year ago for lots of things.
All you need to do is look at nursing staffing.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do is look at nursing staffing. And to your point, my question to them is, all right, I've had enough. I've honestly had enough. Okay?
Have.
Because I've done the math. Okay? Not only have I done the math, right? The Koch brothers did the fucking math. All right? And the math says that universal health care is actually cheaper, right, than the current system we have now, right? That's a conservative think tank that thinks that, and that's me, okay, who's both done the math. So my question is show me the math that Medicare for all or single payer would be significantly more expensive, okay, than the current system we have now. Show me the math, because the experts have done the math. I've done the math. The only people that I know that still argue haven't done the math. Right?
Yeah.
What they do is again, they're acting like sheep, like they like to project and call others, right? They're acting like sheep and regurgitating that Fox News bullshit.
Yes.
And I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. Show me the math. I'm done with this nonsense that the other side gets a free pass on everything. They don't have to prove anything. All they have to do is it comes out of their mouth and everybody fucking believes them, but yet somehow I have to prove it. Prove it to me. I'm done. Prove it. I want to hear it.
Yes. Yeah, you won't hear it. Um, so Marty looked up what I asked him to look up. This is a local story. I believe it's in Unionville. So the
Okay.
judge orders the town to turn over library funds, and the town plans to appeal. So I think what happened is that they've been saving. The town of Unionville had been saving up annually to put towards the library. And I guess they might have been looking to, the town was trying to move those funds to be used for something else. And is that what was happening, Marty? And so they it generated a case. And so the judges ordered that the funds be turned over for purposes of the library, and they're appealing because I guess they want to put those funds towards something else. I'm not sure what this person is saying. AI viewers. Yeah. Yeah. No, we don't have any AI viewers here, but thanks. Okay, Marty's Marty.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, because you usually, I think it. Did you see that in Mid Hudson News? Because I think it might have been in Mid Hudson News.
Is it Unionville or just Union Library?
Unionville, I believe it was. Wasn't that? Yeah, I believe that was Unionville, and I think that's that's interesting and ties into. So
I'm even looking at it from in just news, and I'm not finding anything.
library funds. Oh, Union Vale. Might be Union Vale. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe
William
that's
Sapp and Kate announced. That might have been Union Vale. Marty, what the hell? You told me we should talk about this. And then you didn't give me the story. Library, Unionville High School resources made possible as part of the library. Ready to make a difference. Ah, wait.
Oh,
I
hold on,
think
there it is. I got it. Michael Hayes ordered a Dutchess County town to turn over uh,
Yeah, to turn over
turn
3
over
years.
3 years of funding that was supposed to be used for the town library. The town of Unionville has been setting aside money for the library in a fund created by the former town board in 2022, but none of the money has been transferred. The library and its trustees sued Unionville, the town board, and the town supervisor, contending that the town budgets included earmarked for the library. The library trustees said they repeatedly requested that Fraser transfer the funds, but did not respond.
So they were purposefully withholding the library funds? What? Why would they do that?
So, issued decision saying that in part that Fraser must transfer the money. So when you, so when it, all right, let me give some background to this. Okay. Um, when you pay your taxes every year, you notice how on your tax bill you have like paying for the library, you're paying for the highway fund, you're paying for the general fund, you're paying for your water, right? You're paying for your sewer district, right? Like it has the itemized things that you're paying for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're giving that money to the town. All your money that you give is to the town for your fire districts, everything. It goes straight to the town. The town then has to disperse it, right, to those other organizations. So here in the town of Waukeil, right, like you give all your tax, you pay January 1, you pay your taxes to the town, right? That includes your fire districts, that includes, your water, that includes your library, includes everything. And then the town has to write a check to your fire districts, to your library, giving them all the money. Okay. It appears that what happened is that the town had, when they went out to tax their residents, right, had put in money to set aside for the library. Okay. I'm assuming for maybe some type of capital project, right? Which happens from time to time. Okay. And apparently the town has decided to keep that money, not distribute it.
Yeah, so that is kind of what I was saying. Yep. Yep. That's
All right. And so now the judge sued them and ordered it to be handed over. It happens from time to time. I'm going to tell you, right? So a lot of people think this story may not be relevant. I'm going to share with you how this is relevant to the
it's
town of
very
Washington.
relevant. It's
It's
absolutely
believe it or not.
relevant. That's what,
So when I got on the board, one of the first things I was informed of, right, was so there are pilot agreements that the town has, right? That either the county entered into or the town entered into. All right. Those pilot agreements, basically, are payments in lieu of taxes, right? That's what a pilot agreement is. It's a payment in lieu of taxes. So when you collect a pilot, okay, that pilot then has to be distributed, okay, to it depends, but usually a lot of times it'll have to be distributed to your schools, your libraries, because you're collecting for all of them. You're collecting the payment for everybody. All right. And that's separate from the taxes that are being paid, right? Because these are usually companies that receive, right, those pilot agreements through an IDA, like the Orange County IDA or the town IDA. So what we found out was is that the town had been withholding funds from the school district for years related to its pilot payments.
really.
Yeah.
To how much money was it?
I don't, that would be something Frank would know more than me. I know that, so believe it or not, this is how long ago this was. Okay. Back in 2021, when Frank had gotten into office, okay, right, when, or 2020, when he first had gotten into office, he was informed of that just like I was, okay, and he ordered the town comptroller, okay, to give the money to the school district, to pay the school district the pilot funds, right? Do we think that those instructions were fulfilled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, right. That's part of how the town was able to get away with, okay, building up its fund balance, was the idea that it just wasn't paying its pilots the way it was supposed to. It wasn't distributing the pilot programs the way it was supposed to.
And so
That
they
came
banked
out, and that came out as well in the in the audits. It
from
actually came out in
O'Connor
the risk
Davies.
assessment from O'Connor Davies. It came out in the risk assessment for O'Connor Davies, and then it came out in the audit. Yeah,
Wow.
that
That's
we hadn't done that, and again I go to, you don't know what you don't know, and again this is all stuff that was being hidden. Like these are all things that are handled by the accountant that you're supposed to, as a board member, should be aware of, right? But in the town of Waukegan, we weren't being made aware of that. That was all being hidden from us because decisions were being made by not the board, but by others.
Let's see, and here we have a similar situation in the town of Union Vale. Sorry,
Right.
I mispronounced. It was Union Vale, not Unionville, and having to do with their library funds. And so we see this. We see these issues. And
Happens more
I
than you can. Happens more than you think it does.
And this is this is your tax money at work. You're paying into this system to provide you with certain services from your town, and to provide you with a competent library, or to provide, whatever, to help the school system or whatever it is. And you have people behind the scenes, and most of them they're your neighbors, right? They can't be elected to a town board unless they live in that town. So these are people that are not coming from outside, and they're in control of that money, and they're not distributing it properly. And we're seeing this from now we're pointing it out, we're highlighting it, we're calling your attention to it happening in your backyard. As much as it's happening all the way up at the federal level, it also happens in your backyard in the smallest ways. And this is why it sucks, right? Everybody hates politics. Nobody wants to be involved, but you have to kind of keep your eyes open, because this is your money. You got to know where it's going, and you got to hold people accountable.
I think it goes down to a lot of people when it comes to these towns, right? And villages and cities, right? There's just they're so big, and people don't take the time to understand what the budget is, or what's in the budget, or how the budget impact. They just expect everything to work, and they are like, well, you have employees and they know how to do their job, so but what did we see here in the town? We saw all of a sudden people, George hired his relatives, Johnson's hiring his
Yes.
relatives. Next thing you know, you have like nepotism, and things don't run properly.
Yeah,
Things
no.
things things get missed, and if you don't have proper controls in place, you don't know that it's not working unless there are controls in place that tell you it's not working, you
you
know?
know or all of a sudden you look around and it's like, this pothole has been sitting here for 6 months. Are they ever going to come and fix it? I keep hitting it on the way home from work. Nobody's fixing it. Nobody's doing stuff to clean it. There's overgrowth by the fire hydrant. What happens if we have a fire? How are they going to hook up to it? So, these little things, they all cost money, and they all come out of your taxes. And if that's not being paid for, then that doesn't get done. Then you start to visually see things that don't look good, or your water gets icky. All of a sudden your water's brown. Or I've been noticing a loss of water pressure. Have they been cutting the water down in the town of Wallkill?
No. We
Oh,
have
okay.
we have one it happens from time to time,
Okay.
you know.
But that's the point. And so you want to it's your money. It's your money, and you got to hold people accountable, and you got to keep watching. Um so moving along, I did do a lot of blasting last night, announcing for this Tau Talk episode, because Neil and I have a little announcement of some things that we're doing, some things we're working on that's in the works, and wanted to share that with you. And so we are deciding to, because as you can see, we came in here and we started talking about more national news, and then we've brought it back local. It kind of muddles the what we're doing here with TOWTalk. And TOWTalk is really, at its heart, is about local towns. It starts with the town of Wallkill, but also other local townships, villages, and small other municipalities, and what happens within them. And so, but we still have a message, a national message. So what we're doing is we're going to sort of divide that, and we're creating a second channel that focuses on national issues. So we can get our voice out there, we can throw our hat out there, and bring to the world our unique brand of attitude and opinions and commentary on national issues, the state of our country, the state of our crumbling republic, and try to get our words out there. So I've already started creating a brand, and starting to get some social media out there. Some of you might have seen some of our posts, but we're calling our new channel, The Daily Gripe. So we can come in here with the intention of just being able to get our middle-age rage on and and give everybody our opinions. So we wanted to talk, just to announce that, let you know it's coming. Maybe I can show you what our new logo looks like. It's a
Rage
little
Against the Middle Age.
Rage Against the Middle Ages. Yeah, that's where we are. Let me see if I can. Here, I got it. Get into my. Sorry, I'm just like working around to my and then working around to my keyboard here, and we're gonna call it. There it is. Now it comes up automatically. Yay! All right, I'm gonna go and share. Hello? Oh, it's not working.
Uh-oh. Hate when
There
it
it
doesn't
goes.
work.
Here we
Oh, there we
are.
go.
I went with a sort of a cartoon look. Our logo is that fist holding the mic, and Neil with the "Do Not Obey in Advance" tattoo on his arm that you have yet to get, but there it is. That's what it should look like. So yep, we've already started. That's our logo, and just wanted to get that out there. I'm kind of proud. I really like this look. It's a little bit more edgy than what we're a little bit more reserved with TOWTalk, and the Daily
Are
Gripe
we?
is gonna. Yeah, I know. Well, it's a more reserved look. It's more civic oriented. Okay, we're still bitching, but anyway. So anyway, let us know what you think. Start following on Facebook. It's the.daily.gripe, because the daily.gripe has been taken by somebody who didn't even use the page. So, but you can do a search for it and start following us. We also have a YouTube channel. It's already been created. It's under the Daily Gripe podcast, and I'll have X and I'll have everything else in there. Not that I pay a lot of attention to X, but sometimes it can be fun to go in there if you want to go. I know it's absolutely a hellhole in there, but sometimes you find some funny stuff to follow. Definitely all of those Lego. Yes, the Lego videos.
Oh, you can see those anywhere.
I know.
You
But
don't have to be on. You don't have to be on that misogynistic bullshit called X, right? Or Twitter, or whatever the fuck Musk wants
whatever
to
they're
call
calling
himself.
them.
Right, call himself today. I mean, why don't we just give the guy more of our tax dollars? Seems
Oh, I don't
fairer.
pay for nothing. I don't pay for it.
It doesn't matter whether you pay for it or not. The government's still going to find a way to give it money.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I think that maybe we should just stop paying federal taxes, but you didn't hear that from me.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck with that, because that ain't gonna work. I mean, you gotta. Again, it's the governors. The governors have to, finally put their foot down and say no more. I don't understand any of this. It makes no fucking sense to me.
Right? Why aren't we doing a soft secede?
I watched the entire Republican Party shut down the government for a year and a half over a fucking Supreme Court nominee, right? And yet Democrats can't fucking walk in a straight line, right? And you can't tell me that, oh well, I've heard all the excuses. It's all performative. It's all I keep going with. It's all performative, and that's all it is. It's a performance. And I'm
Yeah.
sick and tired of it. I'm just done. I'm done with the performative nonsense. I'm done with the performance. I'm it's just I've had enough of it.
I
We don't have a two-party system. You cannot say that Democrats are the opposition party to the Republicans. It just isn't the case. It hasn't been the case for decades, and it's just not.
Well, give me your thoughts here. Do you think that we could possibly, if we got more progressive candidates in there, do you think that could be changed? Wow.
you know, I'm not one of those to be like it's too late. You know, but I mean, you know, if if we were the Happy Days, we would have jumped the shark already. You know, there's no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt that we jumped the shark. There's just I don't know how you come back from any of this. I really just don't. I mean, you know, we've already seen that there's an inability to of inaction from the Democratic Party in blue states and red states, you name it, all over the place. Okay, and you can make claims. Oh well, Republicans are shutting them out. Republicans are just bad guys, but this has been decades in the making.
Mm.
You know, Democrats bailed on the South decades ago. You know, they've made no strides. They haven't done anything to campaign in those states. They haven't spent any money, right? Like you could look at how they've spent money and how the PACs have spent money. They haven't done anything that warrants voting for them.
Did
They
you
haven't done anything.
did you see that whole autopsy? Did you see that report that came out?
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's you know Democrats need to go to the center. It was literally like I could have written that on my couch, right? You know, because it was like APAC paid for, you know, autopsy of you need to go more to the center. And again, I don't even know what the center means.
Yeah, the center has shifted to the right.
But
That's the problem.
everything is shifted.
Everything has
Everything is
shifted.
shifted. Right. So you can't this is what I mean. It's all performative, and I'm not really sure that there is a way back. And let like unless somebody were to come in, like an FDR type, okay, that would say we're going to prosecute all the pedophiles, everybody in the Epstein files. We're going to prosecute all these crimes that Trump and his administration are doing. We're going to prosecute all the insider trading of Congress, right? We're going to prosecute, right? Like, I mean, you think about all the crimes that are being committed across the board,
With
right?
our
By
money.
every single one of these politicians, right? It's not like you have a lot of crimes going on, right? Like
You
you
can't
can't
keep
even idea,
track.
you can't even keep track anymore. And it's at all levels of government. It's congressmen, it's senators, it's judges, it's like you name it. Everybody has gotten their own little gig going on, you know?
Yeah.
So how do you effectively throw a wrench into that, right? And say we're going to, you know, again, you need somebody in there with the gravitas and the wherewithal to be able to say no more. I am going to put in place a top prosecutor and we're going to prosecute every crime,
Yeah.
okay? And we're going to put laws in place that are common sense that every American wants. And we are going to create single payer health care. And we are going to, you know, push for strong unions within this country. And we're going to raise the minimum wage. And we're going to, like, I mean, you think about all the things, right, that we need in America. What politician is talking about any of those things?
Graham Plattner.
That's it. Plattner, Kat Ghazale, Afton Bain, but Kat lost, Afton lost. They're both not running again. You know, and Graham
Graham.
Plattner is going to be one senator out of 100.
I think well, Tallarico has touched on that. Um AOC, Bernie, but there I know Bernie is
Bernie has been one senator out of 100. So all of a sudden you get a handful of senators. You get 5 or 6. Do you think right? Like I mean, it's law of numbers.
yeah.
There's a law. There's a law. There's a law of numbers here, right? The only way there's only two ways that you're going to see significant change. Either you're going to have the people rise up, or you're going to have a politician that has the charisma and the wherewithal and has all the things that FDR had, including money, right, to be able to do these things. And that politician doesn't exist. That FDR type doesn't exist. Okay, and the
Steyer.
the public hasn't uh hasn't lifted themselves up to want to protest in the way that they need to protest. Like look at Italy right now. Italy's basically shut down right now.
So one of the things we need to understand, Italy is a fraction of the size of the United States. We are an enormous country. We are spread out, and trying to organize on a national level is not as easy as it is for Italy or Germany, or
I call bullshit. I call bullshit on that. I just call bullshit on that.
you don't think
I do.
so?
I don't think so at all. There have been countries that have staged larger protests. The pain isn't great enough in the United States.
Right. Maybe that's what we need. Well, I think it's getting there. More and more. I
No, we're
mean,
not even close. Not even
I
close. When the pain gets great enough, that's right. Like the pain was great enough during the Great Depression when you had food lines, when you had mass unemployment, people and you had no worker safety, okay, and you had the robber barons, okay, like taking advantage and just living in gluttony, okay. There was a movement at that point in time, and you had somebody like FDR in office who had the money, and he was like, yeah, maybe one of you, but I ain't gonna fucking get have my head on a pike, right? So he, but where is that person today? You know,
I don't know. I mean, you know, I will say this, that Tom Steyer, who's running for governor in California, I saw an interview with him today. He is a billionaire, but he's a self-made billionaire, so he doesn't come from I was born into wealth and privilege. So he comes from a different perspective of being working class and working his way up. He's certainly saying the right things, and he's definitely gaining in popularity now that Swalwell is sort of out of the
yeah,
way.
but he's gaining in popularity at the expense of actual Democratic progressives. And the question is he doing that because that's where California is right now, and he's doing what he needs to win, or is he doing that because he's an actual progressive? His actions don't scream to me to be progressive. What did he pay his workers?
Well, I don't know. So I saw an interview with him on iHip News, the I've Had a podcast, and Jennifer Welch interviewed him. And I didn't get to the end because I had to leave. But from what I saw, it sounded good. I'm not certainly he doesn't spark me with the kind of excitement that I see for Graham Plattner. I think Graham Plattner is a very strong candidate. He's an excellent speaker, and I think he speaks to the bulk of America on both sides. And I think he's attractive to both sides. He's a hunter, fisherman, hardworking guy, blue collar guy, and yet he's well read and quite articulate, and gets to the heart of the matter, and he's not afraid to speak up to both sides. He actually, in one interview I saw, he mentioned that once Mills stepped out of the race and he was the presumed candidate for Senate in the state of Maine, Schumer reached out to him. They had a lovely. Don't forget that Schumer and then they were not. They were pushing old lady Mills to be the Senate candidate, and they had no choice, so they had to give him an olive branch, and he appreciated it. He said he had a lovely conversation. And then the interviewer said, "Well, do you think we need a leadership change within the party?" And he said, "Well, I had a lovely conversation with Schumer, but yeah, I think he has to go." He like didn't hold back. It's like just came right out, and it's when you see them sort of, there's one thing in choosing your words and trying to be tactful, and but still saying what you need to say versus just flat out kissing up and not saying, walking on eggshells because you don't want to say the wrong thing. And he doesn't walk on eggshells. He might be
Yeah,
tactful,
but
but he's clear.
you're talking about Plattner, and again, to go
Yes,
with, he's one senator. We were
he's
talking
one
about
person.
Thayer, right? And we haven't heard really any policy. We hear a lot of good buzzwords out of Thayer. I haven't heard any good policies out of him though.
He talked
Like,
about he talked about in this interview that I saw. He talked about single payer health care, that he supports that, and he'd like to see something like that in at least for the state of California.
yeah, we'll see.
We'll say
I just don't trust the guy. He came out of nowhere. Again, how did he treat his employees? What does his employees think about him? Right? Did he pay his employee? Did like, if somebody is earning like, I don't fault people for earning $1 billion. He earned $1 billion, great, good for him. Okay, but we've seen other people who run businesses who reinvest in those businesses, who invest in their people, who give their people a commensurate wage, right? Like, I've seen, like, I've worked with CEOs who like, 4-day work weeks to their employees, right? They're not going to make any more than 10% of their lowest paid employee, right? you know so you earned your $1 billion off the backs of your workers. How did you reward them?
it's a good question.
Right?
That's it.
Because that would be all telling. Because if you screwed over the people who made you the $1 billion,
Oh, I'm
okay,
sure that'll come
then
out.
right, then at the end of the day, what are you going to do for the economy? What are you going to do for the people? You didn't take care of the people who actually made you the money. Now all of a sudden you're going to take care of everybody else? Yeah, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Good point. I have felt the same way. As soon as I heard billionaire, I was like, oh boy. It seems like there's just this it absolutely is this top versus bottom battle. So to have someone from the top willing to step up and allegedly,
You notice
represent
how
us.
all these billionaires are like running for office? You have a lot of billionaires, like a lot of millionaires and billionaires, like Pritzker, right? Pritzker's family, believe it or not, is all over the Epstein files.
Oh no, I did not know that.
Yeah, Pritzker's family is all over the Epstein files. Okay, you know these billionaires all they all travel in the same circles. Okay, and they all
Eh,
believe in the same cult non bullshit. And so it's very hard, like, discerning reality from this game. We all want the Graham Plattners, right, to be real. But for every Graham Plattner that you have out there, you will have a Joe Manchin and you have a Fetterman,
Fetterman.
right? You have
Fetterman. What?
guys that pretend to be one thing, but then when they get in off, I mean, you got to remember something. This is like, so I don't know how many people have ever seen the movie Johnny Dangerously. Okay,
Yes, I remember
right,
that movie.
right. I'm only saying this analogy because of the absurdity. There's a scene, okay, where they're trying to bribe the district attorney, okay, and Danny DeVito's character is like, let's make a deal, and he like pulls out like all this stuff. He's like, you want money, you want a car, you want a woman, you want a, like, we'll get you whatever you want, right? You think about getting elected, okay? That's what when you're talking about the stakes, right, at the federal level, right, and even at the state level, that's what happens. You get pulled into a room and they're like, "Let's make a deal."
Yes. Yeah.
You
And
know?
a lot
And
I
oh,
I
sorry.
think these deal no, I and these deals are happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. And do you really think that the person you're electing, your neighbor, is strong enough to say no?
That is a very good question.
And that's really the questions we need to ask ourselves. Okay? That's the question, right? Again, I go back to it's integrity that you're evaluating. And how do you evaluate somebody's integrity?
By their actions.
Right. And that's what we need to start doing. We need to stop listening to the rhetoric and understand who these people are. Okay? And really kind of dig a little bit deeper as to who they are.
Yeah.
At
That's what
all
we
levels of government. All right? I mean, from your local officials all the way on up, right? Because there are too many times, again, I say, where does development occur? Where does development occur? Development occurs in your local community, right? Although, right, like you have all just a little bit of a tangent. We talk about the AI data centers, right?
mm,
Everybody's now against an AI data center. Where's the fight coming from? The states have all approved these, right? So the AI data centers, the states approve it, right? Your EPA, like everybody's approving it. And then where's the fight coming in? The fight's coming in at your local town board, your local zoning board, your local planning board. That's
yes.
where the fights are coming in. Okay? Because that people are realizing that's your last line of defense. And what's the local municipality saying in a lot of instances? Our hands are tied, right? The state approved it. We can't do anything at this point in time. Okay? And that's what's occurring is these end runs, this backdoor money, right? And when I say money, it's a lot of
Lot
fucking
of
money.
money.
Lot of fucking money, you know? And you could be
To,
talking bags of cash.
yeah.
We heard, right, we heard in this last election with county executive, right, Steve Newhouse, right here in Orange County, we had, there were rumors of a bag of cash, right? I mean, that was what his opponent Michael Sussman had talked about, that there was a bag of cash, that there were text messages about a bag of cash. You know, I mean, this is what happens. These are your local officials. I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you. You know,
Money.
take it for whatever you want. But these are your local officials. These are your officials at every level of government, and knowing that the guy you're voting for is gonna do represent you and your interests and what you want. It's very and your politicians may not know when they're taking that vote, even though they're paid for that vote. They may not understand the ramifications,
Yeah.
right?
This is true.
Like we saw this. Okay, we saw this here in the Hudson Valley. Pat Ryan, who is our congressman, right, voted to ban TikTok. Right, voted for the TikTok ban. Okay,
Now look at where it is.
very very proud of himself for voting for that. Right, but now look where we are. Okay, all our media now, including TikTok, including everything else, is owned by like five people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and and we've mentioned this in a couple of videos that we've posted recently. They're moving in on YouTube.
Right.
Right. This is so we consider ourselves an independent media. We're an independent voice. We're not getting corporate paycheck. We're on an extremely low budget here, but we're independent. So when you no budget, but we are an independent voice, and there are independent news, channels here on YouTube, like Midas Touch is one of them. Midas Touch, The Bulwark, iHip News, and all of these other ones, Secular Talk. They're all independent people. Even MS Now is on here. They're reporting news, and now they're seeing their numbers for views going down because YouTube is squelching them a little bit. Why? Because YouTube is owned by Google, and Google was a donor to the Trump campaign. So, so we're seeing them looking to choke this sort of last bastion of free speech. This is the free speech. This is the attack on free speech. It isn't saying no, you can't say that. It's simply saying we're just going to buy up all the outlets where that free speech is located, and we'll tell them what to say and how to say it if they want to keep their jobs. And
Well,
you
again,
end up with
it's
with no message, right?
this is really, so we've talked about Citizens United. This is really the curse of Citizens United, right? I mean, this is really what the curse is that money is free speech, but if you have all the money in the world, you can buy up all the speech,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And now that money has been consolidated to the higher ups, to the billionaires, right? To one group of people, we're now seeing that all that free speech is getting written up. And as I said, I look at our and I say, you look at Pat Ryan. Pat Ryan took Palantir money. He took Palantir money to make that vote against TikTok, right? But look at the long term ramifications of that and the negative ramifications of that. So I think it's just a matter of we need to pay attention more and we need to hold our officials more accountable. Okay, and I think that you know I think Pat Ryan tried. I don't think that he had any ill intent when he made that. I think it was one of those things, right? Palantir is giving him money. He's gonna make this vote, and he figures that the vote will be neutral. Then a guy like Trump comes in and is like, I want to sell TikTok to my friend, and yada yada yada, and have it censored, and then that's what you get.
Yeah. So, little known information about Larry Ellison. He's the big Oracle guy who now owns all this media that we're talking about here. I read just the other day that he was born in the Bronx to an unwed teen mother in 1944. Obviously, she was young. She didn't have any income. She was single. So she sent him to live with his aunt and uncle in Chicago, and they adopted him, raised him, put him through school, obviously a technology career. And he, in his 20s, founded Oracle, and it grew it to this gigantic behemoth that it is. And somehow he forgot where he came from, forgot that he started off as a working class person, and now he feels that he's above us now. So he was
They all feel that they're above us.
yeah, but you would think, you always hope, and I know this doesn't happen, but in some cases it does, that maybe you remember where your roots are, you remember where you came from, not these
What?
people.
Well, again, right? Like that goes to what are your roots? Where did you actually come from? Did he really come from a working class background? Did his
That's
family really
true.
come from a working class background? Was his family a union crowd, or were they an upper middle management? Like I mean, I hear shit, and it's just like America is very very diverse all the
That's a
way
good thing.
across the board, and when you look at our government, we do not have that same diversity in government. Okay.
Not anymore, we
And
don't.
when I talk diversity, I am not talking, right, Trump. I'm not talking, you know, minorities. I'm not talking blacks. I'm not talking Hispanics. I'm not talking women. I'm not talking that. Yes, we need those things, but that's not the diversity I'm talking about. All right. When I talk about diversity, I'm talking about where are the farmers being represented in Congress? How many farmers do we have in Congress?
I don't think we
Back in
have
the
any.
day, we had a peanut farmer as a president.
Yes, we
Okay.
did. Yes, we
Okay.
did.
Now everybody's a fucking lawyer. They're all fucking lawyers, right?
Lawyers, CEOs, former CEOs,
But most of them are
criminals.
lawyer. Even the CEOs, they're lawyers. They were lawyers by trade. These guys don't. That's not diversity. You know, if you have five women attorneys and five men attorneys, that's not diversity. That may be
It's 10
diversity if
attorneys.
you're in a. That's a diversity if you're in a law firm.
It's a partnership
But
now.
right, that isn't diversity I mean, you should have accountants, you should have lawyers, um
A
you know
doctor.
farmers, you should have people in manufacturing, you should have doctors, yes, you should have scientists, you know you should have all people from all walks, environmentalists, you should have everybody, you should have bartenders, you should have this, that, and the other, right? Like, give a diversity of thought, okay? Because
Yeah.
that's what you need in government is diversity in thought. That's what businesses had discovered with DEI policies. DEI policies wasn't just to create diversity in management or in your business. It was to create diversity in thought, to create, right, opportunities
Yes.
for making money, right? For capitalism. Okay? Like, I mean, you like before Telemundo, there wasn't even a Spanish speaking network, right? Like, I mean, but somebody had the idea and we're like, and now all of a sudden, I mean, you're talking about a $1 billion business.
Yeah.
So
So,
we need more diversity of thought,
yes.
and to get that, you need people with diverse backgrounds.
Yeah. And right now the status quo is we don't want that kind of diversity. That seems to be what they want. And just, getting back to, well, can we get out of this? Can we, what do we do? Are we stuck here forever? Well, no, I don't think we're stuck here forever. I think it's going to take a lot more than 8 million people in a No Kings protest. I think we need a greater segment of the population standing up. I think we need a lot more people pushing back. But it can be done because we just watched it happen, right? Right? Took 16 years, but Hungary finally voted out their dictator. They finally made that election because the elections have been rigged. That's how he stayed in power until it was finally too big for him to do that.
They voted him out, but now we got to see the reforms. How long is it going to take to get the reforms? Because we saw this same thing happen in the Philippines, right, under Durante, who was in office for many years, right? Durante, was U.S. backed. He's now in the ICC, International Criminal Court, for human rights violations, right? But you look at Philippines, went full authoritarian, they went full fascism, right? Where are they now compared to where they were under a democratically elected government, right? Um, they haven't moved the needle much. The needle hasn't been moved much, right? Yet they're not. The killings have stopped under Durante, right? Because he's not there anymore, right? But the ball hasn't been moved anywhere, right? It's basically, it came back a little bit, but it really just kind of stayed where it was.
Now, how
You
long
know,
ago? How long has it been since they got rid of
Durante
Durante?
was it was a few years.
It's a few
It's been a few
years.
years
Yeah.
now.
And I know Chile did they voted their guy out finally.
Takes it takes
It,
time. It
and
takes
and
time
we're
and it takes will.
and that's kind of where we are right now. So, we have a hard road ahead to even, if by some miracle we're able I think we will win the midterms. It depends on what, like you said, what reforms, what happens. If they just kind of do what happened during Biden, which is just like, oh, we're gonna just move move ahead and not look back. Yeah, then nothing really changes.
But
So,
they're already telling you that that's what they're going to do.
and it's really up to us as the people who elect them to hold them accountable and push for what we want. And I think you're right. I think we need. I think it's going to have to get worse than it already is before people really start to get outraged and
Oh,
start to
it
really
will.
stand up.
It will. It's coming.
It's coming.
Remember, we're only about 4 months in, 3 months in, right?
from
And it,
from
from the
oh
war in
from the
Iran.
war. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're about
we're
three
about three
months.
months in. So when we get to about 6 months, there'll be some real pain. By the time we get to 9 months, we'll be in a depression, and then
When
we'll
the
go from there.
and when the body bags start really coming in, I mean, that's when hopefully it's not a thing to hope for, but it if not, we're stuck here, and all of our tax dollars are just going into the pockets of these people.
All of our tax dollars are going into the pockets of these people.
That's what,
That's
yeah.
not going to change. Yeah, there's that's not going to change. That there's nothing new that's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
this is the grift that they set themselves to. So
yes.
and they're going to keep taking the money and taking the money and taking the money as long as they can. There
Yeah,
it,
until
it's
somebody says no. Till somehow there is a pushback. That's right. What is that saying? Was it Jefferson who said, if your government doesn't fear you, you have tyranny. Once the government fears the people, that's when you have democracy.
yeah, no, they don't fear us.
No, not right now. They don't. They're actually laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, half the time they smirk when they're on
And
Fox News.
and they weaponize the government. Like, so you speak up against them just like Hassan Piker did, and they'll send the government after you to subpoena your records and documents and say that and they'll come after you. There's no fighting. This whole idea that, oh, we need guns to fight a tyrannical government. There is no amount of guns that you could own that would be able to fight the U.S. government. There's just none. The government is the government. The government, if they want to destroy you, they will absolutely destroy you in every way. All right, and they are now solely owned by the billionaire class,
Yes.
the Epstein
Yes.
class, and that's it. And we just all have to now accept that and try to do what we can in our small little spheres.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be doing ours with the Daily Gripe. We'll be putting up some posts, and make sure you follow that channel as well as this channel, uh, so you can hear what we're doing on both sides, and let us know what you think about today's broadcast. We're sort of a non-scripted, free-form way of doing things. So let us know what you think in the comments below. And always remember to like, share, and subscribe. Follow the Daily Gripe, and catch us back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. We'll have more to talk to you then. In the meantime, be well. All right, be safe. And remember, we love you guys. And we will talk to you soon. Take care, all.
Peace out.
Thanks so much for being here.